Here's a wild truth. Flags lie all the time. They flap big and loud and point like they know everything. Then a bullet leaves the barrel and proves the fabric didn't read the room. Your flag's fibbing, said the guy pushing them up. Every head on the firing line rotated. 8 shooters, top of their class, laying behind 1,000-yard rifles on the breezy sand flats at Dam Neck. Chief Darius Holt, the kind of man whose voice could wrinkle a uniform, stopped mid-lecture. And the janitor, salt and pepper beard, sun-creased cheeks, base utilities with a name patch that read J, Kestrel, tapped the bristles, glanced at the distant steel, and added, almost apologetically, "Wind's not west. It's shearing. High layer is riding northeast. Low layer is sliding south. You're holding the wrong side, gentlemen." Awkward silence. Then snickers. Then a full-blown laugh from the cocky one, Petty Officer Leo Vance. "Appreciate it, sir," he said, loading sarcasm like a round. "We'll get the flag to file a correction." Kestrel didn't flinch. He made a tiny pinwheel out of a receipt and a paperclip. Where did that even come from? Held it chest high, then knee high. 2 different spins. See? No one did. Or no one wanted to. Chief Holt gave the old man a look that said, "You're on thin ice," and weirdly, "I'm listening at the same time. You got a better call, Mr. Kestrel? 2 minutes right. A quarter minute up. Wait for the lull between gust sets. You'll hear it before you see it." "Hear what?" Leo scoffed. "The pause," Kestrel said. "Wind breathes. Ridiculous. Except the range went quiet just for a second, like the Atlantic drew in air and held it. Every shooter felt it. Leo felt it. "Send it," Chief said. 5 reports cracked. For impacts rang steel. Leo's missed by a whisper. And somewhere between all those echoes and all those shocked faces, a broom held court like a scepter. And wait until you hear how this ends. It's crazier than the beginning. Quick reset. It was a Tuesday, which at Dam Neck means sand in your socks and humility in your lunch. The drill was simple. 8 shooters, 900 yards, ocean crosswinds doing push-ups. I.e. ballistica uzaming. Smart scopes blinking. Steel silhouettes swinging like slow metronomes. Then the janitor spoke. Chief Darius Holt wasn't easily rattled. 30 years in, 5 deployments, 2 creaky knees, and 1 voice that could sand paint. But when 4 of his best landed center after some mop-powered wind call, he holstered the ego and got curious. "Kestrel," he asked, "you prior service?" "Just stacking years," the man said. "I fix squeaks. Pick up brass. Keep the dunes from walking onto your sidewalks." Leo Vance rolled to a knee. "You also do palm readings, Grandpa? Or just wind?" Kestrel let that one sail by like a gull. "You're overcorrecting," he told Leo, gentle as a librarian shushing. "You're chasing the last gust. Patience makes hits. Impulse makes misses." "Cool. I'll embroider that on a pillow." Chief's eyebrow twitched. "Vance, take another." "Kestrel, if you've got a call, say it." Kestrel studied the range like a man reading tide tables. Not dramatic, not mystical. Just present. "Listen for the flags to die together," he said. "The high flag on the tower and the low streamer at the 500 berm. They're on a phase right now. When they match, you have a window. That's your door." "Doors, windows. This is a rifle range," Leo muttered, but he waited. They all did. 30 seconds. 20. 10. Both flags side at once. "Now," Kestrel said. Leo squeezed. "Steve sang." Chief didn't clap. He never claps. But he did something weirder for him. He smiled. "Mr. Kestrel," he said, "I've got an open block this afternoon if you'd like to talk to my class about the weather." "Chief," Kestrel replied, eyes kind and tired. "The weather's already talking. I can help them here. You ever watch somebody notice what the rest of us miss? It's spooky." Kestrel's baseline gear was nonsense. Receipt pinwheels, a strand of surveyor tape, a tiny squeeze bottle that puffed chalk dust. No calculator. No swagger. Just a notebook older than half the shooters and a pencil he sharpened with a pocket knife. "Mirage is bend in like a question mark," he told them. "That means updraft near the 2/3 mark. Hold a hair high, not a whisker. A hair." The class went half in, half out. The outs were the app evangelists. "My scope has a wind solver," one said, patting the optic like a loyal dog. "Your scope's a good kid," Kestrel said, but it hasn't learned manners. It doesn't say, please to the air. He pointed across the flats. See the shimmer? That's the air telling you it's going somewhere. Your bullet has to file a flight plan with the air, not your phone. Laugh if you want. Then watch 5 more center hits. Chief Holt leaned near and lowered his voice. Kestrel, he said, what did you do before mops? Kestrel scratched his jaw. Grew up inland. Chased dust devils as a kid. Later, chased a different kind of wind for a living. Meaning this is a good range, Kestrel said, and turned back to the line. Cliffhanger, right? We thought so too. Chief let it hang. Good instructors know when not to pry. Also, good instructors see posture. The way Kestrel's shoulders fell into calm when a gun spoke. The way he scanned for eddies the way other men scan for threats. Leo Vance, who measured worth in decibels, took the silence as an opening. I'll race you, old-timer, he said. 2 rounds, 2 targets, fastest total time with both impacts wins. Kestrel blinked. No thanks. I'm more tortoise than hare. Oh, come on, Leo said, grinning loud. Afraid to get smoked? No, Kestrel said softly. Afraid you'll learn the wrong lesson. That shut even the seagulls up. Training changed. Not overnight. Shooters are stubborn. But curiosity is gravity, and Kestrel had mass. He made them do weird things. Blow soap bubbles over the shooting mat. They'll fly the truth, he said. He had them watch cottonwood fluff drift along the berm. Lightest things tell you the most. He forbid them to touch dials for a whole drill. Hold only. Feel what 4 inches looks like at 700. He snuck humility into humor. If you can't call your miss, he'd say, then you didn't own your hit. By the second week, even the app kids started glancing at the mirage before glancing at the screen. By the third, they were calling holds before Kestrel did. By the fourth, Leo Vance stopped announcing his every breath. Tiny wins stacked into a new kind of confidence. It wasn't that Kestrel turned them into wizards. He just made them slower thinkers and faster readers, which sounds backwards until a gust knifes across the flats, and you stop, wait, feel the lull, and send with intent. Chief introduced a new drill. No electronics. He barked one morning. You get your gun, your dope card, your eyes, and... He gestured to Kestrel, whatever receipt origami this man is carrying. Groans, laughs, then hits, and misses, and real learning. Leo still poked. It's his love language. So, wind whisperer, he said one afternoon as they policed brass. You gonna tell us your deal? You don't learn this reading weather apps. Kestrel set a piece of brass in a line as straight as a runway. I learned by listening to people who were smarter than me, he said. Some more rank, some more grease. The ones I remember best wore both. What's with the name? Leo pushed. Kestrel. Bird of prey? That's suspicious. Kestrel chuckled. That's just a name I got from my dad. He fixed prop planes and liked birds. That's all, which is exactly the kind of answer that isn't an answer at all. The paper cup test was the day a lot of minds flipped. Kestrel set 8 cups at 810 yards, each one a cheap diner special with a hand-drawn dot dead center. We're not shooting cups, he said. We're shooting the space in front of cups. Your bullets are going to walk through expanding air. The cups are just witnesses. Witnesses, Leo grinned. To our crimes. To your patience, Kestrel said. They each got 5 rounds. No saites. Wait for the lull Kestrel taught them to hear. The shared pause when high and low winds snapped into agreement. And send one. But just not by algorithm, but by the story the air told between muzzle and target. A mirage that leaned? A blade of grass that danced? A dust flicker at the 600 mound? That was your edit. Cups exploded. Not every time. Not even half the time. But the misses got honest. They weren't random. They were traceable. And in marksmanship, traceable misses are tuition payments. Again, Chief said. This time for cups vaporized. One of them was Leo's. He didn't flex. Didn't need to. He just stared downrange like the ocean had told him a secret he wasn't ready to share. That evening, as the sun folded itself into the water, Kestrel stayed late to rake the sand paths. Leo walked over, hands stuffed in his pockets. You know I was a jerk, he said. Past tense is a strong choice, Kestrel smiled. Okay, I'm a jerk, Leo said, laughing. But I'm a jerk who wants to learn. What did you hear before you said now today? Kestrel pointed to the line of wispy cirrus sliding across the high sky. They synced, he said. Sky and ground. It's never long. Sometimes it's not even a breath. But when the whole room agrees, you move. That's true in other places too. Like life? Leo asked, wrinkling his nose at his own cliché. Like rooms where decisions get made, Kestrel said, and the way he said it made Chief, who was locking the conics, glance over with a question he didn't voice. The bass buzzed. Word travels fast when you start stacking steel at distances that used to swagger over you. The rumor mill invented 3 backstories by Thursday. Kestrel had been a CIA shooter. Kestrel had been a carnival trickshot artist. Kestrel was actually a retired admiral doing a secret humility tour. That one got a gold star for creativity. Chief Holt finally cornered him in the gear cage. Not to put you on blast, he began, which is exactly how you put someone on blast. But I need to know what I'm dealing with. If I have an asset in my building, I owe it to the Navy to know. Kestrel hung a coil of hose on the right hook and lined the brass cans so their labels faced forward. I worked with people who thought long distances were short, he said. Some wore the 4-letter on their sleeve. Some didn't. Mostly I learned about wind from a sergeant who loved coffee and hated being called sir. That's the resume I can give you. That all? Chief asked. That's all that matters now, Kestrel said. Only one thing scares me anymore. What's that? Complacency, Kestrel replied, and it landed like a hammer on a tuning fork. Chief nodded. Good. Then we're scared of the same thing. 2 days later, base ops called. A flag officer wanted a demo. Not a paper cup test. A show. Big shots love big shots. AI-assisted optic versus human calls, moving target, coastal wind, public scoreboard, the works. Send your best, Chief Holt. Holt hung up and stared at the wall like it had asked him a rude question. Then he called the team to the classroom. Suit up, he said. We're going to put on a magic show. Except the magic is physics and patience, and half the audience hopes we flop. Leo's eyes cut to Kestrel. You in? I'll be there, Kestrel said. But I'm not center stage. Why not? Leo asked. Kestrel touched his chest. I've had my turns, he said. Show me you can listen to air without me whispering. That'll tell me a lot more than a hero shot. Hero shots are fun, though, Leo said. Yeah, Kestrel said. But watch what happens after the applause. That's where the work lives. Demo day wore a storm's face. Low ceiling, an ocean that looked like pewter, flags that couldn't decide which drama to audition for. A towed drone dragged a canvas triangle. Think airborne windsock target, downrange at variable speeds. A smart scope, fresh off a glossy brochure, glowed with alphanumeric confidence. Admiral Vale, square jaw, silver hair, handshake like a metal lathe, gave the pep talk. Show me this old-school craft can hang with our toys, he said, not unkindly. Chief put Leo on the gun for Team Human. The smart scope went to Ensign Park, a solid shooter with digital faith. Kestrel stood behind Leo with his receipt pinwheel and that battered squeeze bottle of chalk. Rule? Chief asked. Kestrel nodded. Don't talk unless I have to, he said. Copy, Leo said and meant it. First pass. The drone pulled left to right at a steady slide. Park with the smart scope took the shot on the beep. Mississippi. The scope sang a little song of correction. He took another. Miss. The scope suggested a holdover like it was reading a recipe. Leo waited. Kestrel's pinwheel spun one way at chest height, the other at kneecap height. 2 layers arguing. When they agree, Kestrel whispered. They didn't agree. They bickered like siblings. The drone's tow line hummed with the fight. Not yet, Kestrel said softly. Admiral Vale crossed his arms. Chiefs don't fidget, but Holt's hand flexed once. Then the flags snapped in unison for a blink. Door, Kestrel said. Leo pressed. The canvas triangle kicked. Paint dust puffed. Impact. Applause was polite, like clapping for a solo at a school concert. The misses had been louder. That's how it goes. Second pass. The wind went from moody to petty. Gussets punched, then ghosted. Smart scope doubled down. Park, fighting the machine and the air, sent smart misses. Leo breathed. The drone's line twanged. Kestrel's chalk puff drifted, then flattened, then climbed. Mirage is lifting mid-track, he murmured. Don't chase the lift. It'll betray you. Copy, Leo said, and held a hair low off the lift. Impact. Paint again. The Admiral's eyebrows rose, which is Navy for well now. And wait, Chief murmured to nobody, for how this ends. Admiral Vale stepped closer. Old school wins rounds 1 and 2, he said, a ghost of a grin. But I didn't come for paint. I came to be impressed. He snapped. An aide carried out a ridiculous thing. A tennis ball dangling from a wire under the canvas triangle. Dislodge the ball, Vale said. Not clip it. Knock it free. Ensign Park swallowed. Sir, with respect, that is rude. Vale finished. Yes, war is rude. He wasn't wrong. Chief pulled Leo into a huddle with Kestrel. We can wave off, Chief said. Live to fight another PR day. Or, Leo said, we could try something nuts. Kestrel watched the clouds scud like cattle. You don't go straight at a stunt, he said. You let the air set the table for you. That ball will swing under that wing. It will stall at the bottom of its arc for a blink. If the drone speed holds, and if the gusts pulse at this cadence, and if you don't snatch the trigger like it owes you money, you'll have half a second. Half a second, Leo repeated. Luxury. He went prone. Park watched with the kind of dread reserved for seeing your phone slide face down off a balcony. The drone pulled. The ball danced. Wind laughed. Kestrel's pinwheel argued with itself. Kestrel closed his eyes. Everyone leaned forward like their spines were leashes. Not yet, Kestrel breathed. The ball dipped, stalled. Kestrel's chalk went sideways, then dead still. Now, Leo sent. You know that tiny silence when lightning flashes and everyone waits for the thunder? That. Then a gentle pop as the tennis ball jumped from the wire and fell like a stage prop relieved to be done with its scene. Admiral Vale's jaw did a human thing. It dropped. Then he laughed, big and genuine, the kind of laugh that refuses to go back in the box. Okay, he said. Okay. Park exhaled like he'd been underwater. Chief did the Navy version of a high five, which is a micronod. Kestrel just wiped chalk off his palms. Who taught you that? Vale asked Kestrel. The wind, he said. Same teacher you got if you show up to class. Awards weren't given. Stories were. The Admiral asked for Kestrel in his office. Chief went too. So did Leo, dragging his grin like a kite. Mr. Kestrel, Vale said, pouring 3 coffees and setting down a 4th out of habit. You're not a janitor who likes rifles. You're a rifleman who made peace with mops. Kestrel looked at the cup he didn't drink. With respect, sir, I'm a maintenance worker who likes quiet. That's my job, and I like it. Vale tapped a folder. You're also Jonah Keene, he said. Different last name. Same first. Same eyes. You worked weather and ballistics for people who didn't want their names on programs, Vale continued. You were the quiet hand behind hits that never made the news. Our files call you a field met specialist. Some of those files are older than these chairs. Kestrel, Keene, didn't deny it. He didn't confirm it either. He just tugged the brim of a cap that wasn't on his head and said, I learned from a sergeant who loved coffee. Vale nodded, meaning I read that part. Consult for me, he said. 1 day a week. Teach my shooters to see the air. Kestrel's gaze went to the window, where the flags, the liars, were arguing again. 1 day, he said finally, on one condition. Name it. We call it the Garden Club, Kestrel said. Vale blinked. Garden Club. Shoots best in dirt, Kestrel said. Learns from roots. Talks to leaves. And nobody who shows up is allowed to be the loudest one there. Vale laughed. Done. Leo tried not to. Failed. Garden Club, he said, tasting it. I'm in. Garden Club met Saturdays at dawn. No rank. No apps. No swagger. Kestrel handed out notebooks and pencils and a list that looked like a scavenger hunt for senses. Here, count gust sets by year. See, read mirage angles at 200, 500, 800. Feel, wind on cheekbone, wind on neck. They're different. Smell, salt means moisture means drag. Wait for the room to agree. He brought a coffee can of dandelion seeds he'd dried in his shed. They'd toss a pinch and watch the seeds write cursive in the air. He had them shoot with their bipods off, then on, then off again to feel how their heartbeat moved the reticle when they were honest. He told one story, the only one he let out. Once, on a ridge that had no name, we had a problem that needed solving at a distance most folks call impossible, he said. The wind was 3 different arguments stacked on top of each other. We waited for them to sink. We didn't get a second chance. So we waited longer than we wanted. That's all you need to know. Did you hit? Leo asked. Kestrel looked at the sea. The right thing happened, he said. Not the answer we wanted. Maybe the answer we needed. By month 3, the shooters were catching the pause before Kestrel called it. Leo, the loudest in week 1, had turned monastic. He'd chalk "wait" in tiny letters on his thumb before every string. He started catching other pauses too, like before he spoke, before he reacted, before he decided who he was about to be. Funny thing about learning to read wind, you accidentally learn to read people. Because it can't all be winds, right? That would be boring. The room will always throw a chair eventually. Midsummer, a visiting joint task force brought a new toy. A radar-assisted mover on rails downrange, zipping targets laterally, forward, backward. Let's see your garden club juju on this, the test director smirked. The air was ugly. Huh. Boiling mirage. Mirage inside mirage. Flags that spun in complete 360s like possessed compasses. Even Kestrel's pinwheel looked confused. Part took a run. Mississippi Leo took a run. Mississippi. Another. Mississippi. It wasn't panic. It was a slow, creeping itch under the skin. The kind that makes you tighten your jaw. Walk it off, Chief said. We reset. Kestrel crouched beside the line and tapped his temple. You're trying to solve a math problem that's currently being rewritten, he said. So don't solve it. Bracket it. Bracket, Leo asked. Left miss, right miss, Kestrel said. Give the air a fence to bounce you into the middle. But he raised a finger. Honest misses. Not flinches dressed up like data. They tried it. One left edge dust. One right edge kiss. Then Leo breathed 2 beats, waited for that full room pause he'd learned to hear in the bones, and sent the third. Impact, dead center. They walked targets from there. Not perfect, not clean, but disciplined. They made the ugly day honest. Kestrel sat back on his heels and finally drank one of the coffees Vale had been leaving for him for weeks. Only drink coffee after a hard wind, he said. Tastes better. Weird rule. Perfect rule. On the day Garden Club hit week 12, a note showed up on the classroom corkboard. Plain paper. Sharpie. For lines. The wind doesn't care who you are. It only cares that you're listening. Yotka. P.S. The flag isn't wrong. It's just early. Chief taped it straight. Leo took a picture and didn't post it. Vale smiled without letting anyone see. Kestrel went back to mops, which is to say he went back to practicing quiet excellence where no one claps. He raked the sand pads in long, straight pulls. He fixed a squeaky hinge on the ammo locker that had annoyed everyone for years, and no one for real. He oiled the gate latch that liked to bind on humid days. He waved at people who finally waved back first. A week after the note, Leo found something odd in the gear cage. A small envelope with his name in a tidy, old-school hand. Inside, 1 page. No signature. Don't adjust in anger. Don't apologize to the target. Don't trust your first story about a miss. Do eat humble pie, hot or cold. Do teach someone who annoys you. Do learn from someone who annoys you more. At the bottom, when the room agrees, move. He folded it and slid it behind his ID in his wallet. It stayed there, a little sweat-warped for years. Kestrel clocked out that afternoon and walked the long edge of the dunes, where sea oats shake their heads like old men. He paused by the far fence line and watched the clouds slide like continents. He pinched a dandelion seed and let it go. Tell him, he said to no one, maybe to the air. Tell him when it's time. The seed floated. It didn't answer. It didn't have to. Months later, a tropical storm spun lazy circles off the coast. Base ops shuttered, then unshuttered, then shuttered again. Everything was both canceled and urgent. Chief Holt got the call nobody rehearses. A medevac chopper needed a safe window, 15 minutes, coastal sheer like a knot in a rope. Chief stood on the pad with a radio and a headache. Leo stood next to him, thumb inked with a tiny weight. He closed his eyes. Room, he said. What? Chief barked. Listen, Leo said. The room's arguing. It'll agree. It always does. Give it 10 seconds. They waited. They heard it. The pause. The flags died together. The tall ones and the torn streamer. Even the loose chain on the gate stopped chattering. Window, Leo said into the mic. The pilot punched through, light on skids, in and out, no drama. Chief didn't cheer. He just breathed out of death. Later, he found Kestrel by the sand path, rake in hand, like a punctuation mark at the end of a long sentence. Heard you made a call without the broom, Kestrel said, eyes twinkling. We had a good teacher, Chief replied. Teacher? Kestrel shook his head. Just the guy who handed you the receipt. Then keep the change, Chief said. And yeah, that line was corny. And yeah, we loved it anyway. So, friend, if you liked Riding the Wind with us, hit subscribe. We've got more quiet storms and louder lessons on deck.